Okay, we are back. Thank you guys.
Hmm.
All right, Josh, did you sent me something?
I did. Yeah, I sent you a question on chat.
All right. Um, okay, I guess I need a little bit more definitive question to. What do you mean, like him being dead, like him being a vampire?
I mean, I'm not saying that Electo knows that. The bit that I sent you was from Electo's background that you sent me. So I'm
Hmm.
wondering, where does Electo, like, is that like a story that he heard in a tavern somewhere, or is that like a report from someone who fled one of the cities he took over, or like what is it that Electo actually knows about Azarian's connection to the dead?
That would definitely be rumor tales for you, because basically you don't. The only thing you serve is kind
Yeah,
of like part of Jacksonport government, but you're kind of free, a
sure.
free privateer, so to speak. So that's nothing. I mean, you would get it kind of loosely like that. Like this, you sailing here is
Yeah.
now
Okay.
your what the f is going on with this old place that I used to call home, um,
Yeah.
or a place I cared about, and I want to know more of what's going on for that. But
All right. So it's not like I've heard rumors about him like like White Walker style, like raising the dead that falls in the cities that he takes over or anything like that.
yes, I mean, and that's the thing about Azarian, and this is going to be no different than you remember back even in Alana's days, is like he is Darth Vader to Alana's in terms of those people that run into him are godforsaken, fearful of him, and afraid, and have all these great, amazing stories. But to everybody
Oh
else,
sure.
he's myth and rumor. Like whatever you say, it's hard to believe, you know, because you've never seen him do anything. Like he's
Right.
that he is a strong and powerful king, but he holds a presence where he's not like, oh, well, I'm going to give you. And a lot of you, and this is you personally, this is like to Josh more or less, is like something realizing it.
Yeah.
He's somebody
Yeah.
who isn't going to give you information to when he's done something for you to analyze and be like, ah, you know, he swings mostly
Right.
with his left hand, so to speak, type of thing. Nobody's seen it.
Yeah. 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 All right. Fair enough. All right. Yeah. I mean, Josh understands all that. Like Josh knows what's
Yeah,
going on here. I'm trying to figure out like what does Electo know to go ahead and add to the narrative.
yeah,
So
and he's kind of like he's just getting
yeah.
into it. He's kind of loose. He's definitely the book is giving you an understanding that this guy is definitely serious. You are
Mhm.
getting that impression that Hades did this. He was chosen for a reason. You remember that this was part, but remember when they got freed, it was the very last thing, and it was Maximor who did it. And
Yeah.
remember,
Oh, I remember.
there was a secret of the pattern to that, and that was where a lot of it seemed to be kind of sort of placed into. But you didn't get a chance to get a whole lot of who they were. But you will, I will say, I do take that back a little bit. You remember the final fight. You saw him and the six others,
Yeah.
and you saw how powerful they were. Like this is an
Yep.
individual that was swathing to that field that was out there, the demon field and stuff. So this was a very, very
Yeah.
powerfully dangerous
And
individual.
Azarian was one of them, right?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. You saw the seven. So Electo does
Yeah.
remember the seven people or beings that were released.
Yeah.
The funny thing about this scene though is
Yeah.
the streams of
Okay.
Spero cast that kind of got this story and met Azarian and all that. They're not part of this group. So it's really poor Jen trying to
Right.
figure out a lot of this history through, and she ended up playing a second
Hmm.
character after this. So this is why it's you guys are. I wanted to have this episode to give you guys a chance to build into this knowledge.
Yeah. All right. I
What do you want?
remember when that no, that was Josh trying to figure out how Electo wanted to speak here. I remember when the Dark Sun first brought the being that is Azarian back. Cy, were you still with us then?
Yeah, I was there. I saw the beings, the beholder, the living armor, the death knight, the as I found to be out later on, the gray drake. Yeah, I was there.
Yeah. As unbelievable as it may be that he can take cities with a single stroke, my friend, with the powers that he is in league with, or at least affiliated with, do not discount that this is possible. These were beings of extreme power who took what they wanted from whoever they wanted.
I'll attest to having fought the gray drake. They described him as a living weapon, and he was very much that. He wounded me deeply, and thanks to Cascade, I survived. And it took at least 4 who were competent fighters to bring him down. So, and he was just a weapon with no plan. Azerian seems to be one with a lot of intelligence and a lot of ambition.
This doesn't speak to me of ambition. It speaks to me of compulsion.
Okay.
And I don't know. I'm not sure. Lace, the cities that he is renaming and the names that he is choosing are cities from your realm, right?
One of them is. Ashgate sounds like a part of his father, Ashton.
Electo, do you think that he's just trying to turn our world into his?
He's a man of tradition. That's not... Sounds plausible. New Greyheim would be a very ominous or choice if he wasn't thinking of some aspect of that.
He also brought this mist here somehow. Or it followed him, or the goddess Ezra gave it to him.
Maybe some power that he holds.
Sheila, do you know anything of what this mist could be? If this is indeed some sort of supernatural construct?
Well, I've heard stories about the Dread Realm and spooky stories, especially with the Phantom Ghost ship out in the ocean's ways, but I never really took it really serious.
So could that be why this Azerian has this charisma that at the mere mention of his name, fear is struck in hearts? Could he be connected to some sort of phantom presence?
Oh, well, there's a ghost ship in the waters, so yeah, maybe. I don't know. I mean, he's a mage over there. He's the court's mage. He might know more. Yeah,
is there someone that we could have, or anyone that could research more into the Dread Realms, the connection to the mist, and what any information that might give us?
Ben, you said I got an idea about the Dread Realms when I was in Hell,
right?
To
counter it.
Yep, and Ronaldus may know a little bit too. What is your history and arcana, Carl?
Let's take a look. Arcana and history +9.
Are you proficient in both of those?
Yep.
Yeah, you know of the Dread Realm. You can speak of it.
Well, Dread Realms are, as has been said, prisons of sorts. They are fragments of a plane, not truly a plane of their own existence, but they exist in the space between planes, as it were. The powers that create them pull beings to them, one of which, in this case, the Silk, is the central creature or being of the plane. They are there as both punishment and reward. Their power is vast and great, and yet they are always tormented by their circumstances.
Are all these Dread Realms new constructs when they started? Is it possible that our world could be turned into a Dread Realm? And that's what he's doing.
That would be a both answer.
Sorry, what's that? What was that?
Maybe
He asked if the realm is either created or can it be brought into the realm, to the Dread Realm. The answer would be both. It can be created anew from the mist itself, or it could be dragged into creating the realm itself.
So not so much making our world his old one, but making our world his own Dread Realm,
or expanding his previous.
But the key would be
he isn't the one.
Right.
He is simply her servant.
Yeah, the prison was Silk, as has been said. But when Silk became worshipped, the prison weakened, and the prison favored Azerian, from what was said recently. That he came to power as she weakened. But he's here now. And somehow this mist that is part of the realm is here. Which would mean it's creating a prison for him, but he doesn't control that prison. He can't create it. If this is the creation of a Dread Realm, it's got to punish him somehow while letting him control it. So that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. He must have been getting favor from elsewhere. I'm going to again fall back on this Ezra, who claimed to be God of the Mists. I'm wondering if he struck a deal with Ezra to bring the mists here.
Lace, you said that Azerian was a successful conqueror in this realm that he comes from. What sort of ruler was he after he conquered a land? It speaks to his character as to whether he's just an obsessive gatherer, or does he wish to rule and administer over people?
Requilin, he didn't seem like it was a big subject when we were talking with the rest of the group, but Requilin said he did turn into an emperor. He is perhaps one of the greatest military minds Requilin has ever known. That's why I'm wondering, what has he got at his disposal? Depending on what he has, that he's done undead, he's done the men of cities. We just got to know what we're facing if we're defending the walls here.
Are there any examples from our history of charismatic conquerors, Alexander types, Napoleon types, that seem to align so we could take historical lessons or character lessons from those old figures?
In Spero, you do know of some great elven generals. They're really old names, but they never were the point of conquering and holding kingdoms. So what Azerian's doing is already unprecedented. Like, Polypotasis has fallen several times in the course of history. It's been one of those, it's in the middle. Everyone's taking a vial at it every once in a while. So it's changed hands quite a bit. But it's never, over time it gets freed. The other kingdoms kind of get involved and it gets released and all go back to normal. No one has ever conquered 3 at one time. That is already, that is like happening. That's like seeing Alexander the Great happening now. Like, this type of conquering is happening now, and you're scared shitless of, I don't know how he's doing it. And you've heard some things about him getting people in the house guard. in your guys' experience, your house guard are your best of your best. These guys are the most alert. They're the ones more watchful. They are very skilled. But the fact that they're getting in cities and going after dynasty families, not only taking them out, but then taking over the city. And there are rumors of what he's been doing in New Greyheim, and that has to do with the old gods. So that's why I'm saying there's some things for you guys to start to filter out other parts of your plots, of your plans.
Might I suggest a few simple and important steps that we should take before we worry about standing in the middle of a battlefield to defend our walls without any intelligence. We should reach out to Laquette and Suckholt, offer alliance, offer information sharing. They're old rivals, but they'll be as worried watching the other two dynasties fall as we are.
I think the only chance we have against Azerian is banding together all the other kingdoms.
Also, we attempt to get some intelligence. You have scouts, you have spies, put them in the field, find out information. And lastly, reach out to New Greyheim. As a king, simply ask him, what is your intentions? Do you intend to conquer? What do you want? Start a parley. That might give us time to figure more stuff out as well.
I'm sure that he also has spies out playing both the game of reaching out to the other kingdoms to ally against him and trying to set up a meeting with him might be a very dangerous game to play.
If it's a game he's going to play, we need to play it as well. We can't stand alone against him.
So we definitely need to try to band together with the other kingdoms.
Who has proficiency in investigation?
No.
Wrong character.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
I fight stuff.
Ronaldus
I
does?
do.
What is your bonus?
I do. 9.
9 again. Wow.
Yeah.
Carl chose a good.
He's a wizard.
I was gonna say, does Sheila?
Throkal, do you?
I don't have investigation, but I do have a +4 in it.
You have a +4 in it?
I do have. Oh,
Electa, what is your investigation at?
It's also a +4.
You're not proficient?
No, but is Sheila?
Sheila's not. King Killian, what is your investigation?
Oh, big fat 0.
Big Fat Zero? Cool.
I get others to investigate for me.
That's fine, you got it, you're alright.
Do I have any underling with?
You have a lot of underlings, yes. This is where a lot of this
You
is
have a
really
lot of
coming into play.
underlings.
Can I
Some
bring
of them
one
are here in the
them?
room with you.
Alright. Killian, I want you to roll a d20, a d20 at advantage, please, and just tell me the number.
Are you trying to roll it digitally?
Yeah. Roll.
Click on the die, and then...
Yeah. 11. 2 11s.
2 11s. Wow.
That's it.
Okay.
Better than
Alright,
average.
you guys, you guys basically end up resting. It gets late after your meal and such. You guys kind of situate yourself out in a couple of days after sending out your people for what's going on.
While a couple days are going by, I want to take the opportunity to speak to Argos about the situation and tell him I trust in his duties to serve the king as captain of the Stormblades, and I don't want to take that away. I will just serve the king directly as an advisor.
Sounds fair.
For him to keep doing what he's been doing.
He appreciates that.
I don't want to upset I don't know the men like he does, but in those days I would like to meet said men.
Okay.
Over the course of those days, actually, there's one of those days that Cass is going to approach Cy and point out that, we haven't fought together for very long. You know that I can become a cat. I can be other animals. If scouting needs to happen, I can take you out. I can, if the mists aren't obscuring, I can overfly a certain perimeter if you like.
Okay, that's very useful information. You are a druid, of course, so I will do our best to put your skills to use if you're offering them as you are. I'm not the person you want to take on an overflight. I am not an investigator. I am a guard, but
armies.
I'm good with when the information is given to me. I'm not great at gathering the information. There are others that are better at that. Probably Throwkill or Rodaldus are probably better at that than I.
I will trust your judgment on that. But you can make the suggestion if you like that I could probably carry one of you of your size. I could probably carry two smaller people, maybe, depending upon how much armor they're wanting to wear.
I'll take that information.
I could send Nikitas with you. He is skilled at spycraft.
Well, he's coming back. I'm just kind of waiting for you guys to kind of get done with your little side part. So basically, Nikitas will return in a couple of days. So he'll give you a report of New Greyheim. Yeah, he's coming back. And he goes,
also, Your Majesty, we need to get the intelligence assets in the city on identifying and giving us the numbers of any new cults or churches of these new gods that are within the city, because that is an outstanding way of getting agents in and being able to begin to work against us.
Excellent idea.
all right, Nikitas will say that my king, New Greyheim her forces are beginning to increase highly in number. She may be marching on us soon.
What does he have for forces?
He has many of his of the soldiers of Greyheim, but we have definitely seen his stormtroopers amongst the ranks and his bloodmen.
And his what?
Cool.
His bloodmen.
What's a bloodman?
He has special forces that have been starting to have title names that we've heard coming through from his city. So his elite guard, the men that personally serve him, are known as the Twilight Stormtroopers. And this group called Razan's Bloodmen are kind of highwaymen specialists that have sabotaged a number of noble merchants. I have heard that the Queen has a unit of her own. And and her personal guard are known as the Red Curtain.
What kind of name is Razan?
I don't know. Definitely not of our people.
I'll look at Desire of Lace and I forget who the third one was.
Cascade.
The three that came with Cy.
Electra?
Yeah, Electra. Is that a name that is familiar to you?
Lace goes, I know of Razan.
And what type of individual was Razan?
He was one of the Alanis' great heroes. He served in battling against the Dark Elves and Silk for all time and would be considered grandfather to Azerian.
Is he trying to set himself up as the hero?
Well,
He's again not of my time. This was Verquillen knows more of him than I, but Verquillen says he wasn't around him a lot either.
Nobody sees themselves as the villain. If they thought that they were bad, then they would stop.
That's very true. Ben, what was the Twilight? What?
Twilight Stormtroopers.
Twilight Stormtroopers. Thank you.
and I can tell you that the Razan's Bloodmen and the Red Curtain are not merely stories. Seeing them in action, they do exactly that. They fight without honor and deserve nothing but death.
How?
So,
what more can you say about the way they fight?
they fight cowardly. They do not fight like soldiers. They fight like thieves and villains.
Assassins and
Yes. Yes.
So they're effective counterinsurgents then. So I know that snipers are exactly the same kind of troop on both sides of the field, but one side sees their snipers dramatically different than they see the other side's snipers.
Agreed.
There's one other significant issue, my king, that I saw with Nucreiheim's men. The largest being I've ever seen walks with him in a helm of our people, of red and a flowing red cape. But he stood 20 feet tall. He looked like a god, my king.
20 feet tall.
Yes, my king.
Did you happen to get a name of this being? Did he have a name?
This is from afar. My king, he looked like the statues of Ares.
20 feet tall. Fingers and toes.
He stood above, near the walls. I kid you not. He's a giant of a person.
He looked like the visage of Ares himself.
From the temple that I've seen here in Kylos? Yes, my king.
It very well could be Ares, striding onto the battlefield as we've been told they will. So maybe
that he would align himself with someone who came about because of these new gods.
No, Ares would be a Spero god. Ares is the Greek god of war.
I know. I said that's why it's interesting that he would align himself with someone who came about.
Oh, right.
With
Sorry.
The old god, with the new gods.
Yeah.
It makes sense though, because Minerva is the goddess of just wars. Ares is the god of just war. The fact that Azerian just wants to roll over everything and conquer is a perfectly wonderful weekend for Ares.
Agreed. So maybe
Regardless,
now's the time to call upon. I can't do it. No, Cy wouldn't go there. Sorry.
so regardless, what we are being told is that there is a war between the gods. These gods from this other realm, this realm of dreadness, are invading our realm.
And
so
that
ultimately we will have to decide
and
which
that
side on this war do we take.
And that Azerian has apparently aligned himself with one of our gods, thereby giving that god power and the yeah, we all know where that line of thinking goes. The only way to counter a god is
with another god.
Yep. Yeah. Some of you here have direct connections with said gods. One of them seemed interested in helping us to get here.
We're asking for Silk's help. Is that what you're leading to?
I don't want to ask
No.
for help, but
An escaped prisoner that was imprisoned within a plane of corruption because of her own mortal frailty is not somebody that we really want to align with. That's going to be playing right into our own destruction.
Agreed, but we don't know. If Ezra is this god of the mists, and Ezra seemed very interested in getting us here, perhaps that god at very least could give us answers. If their gods seem intent on helping us, then maybe we tell one to do it, and for once turn the tables on the gods. That seems blasphemous. I can't believe I uttered those words.
Strange times.
Agreed.
So how do we contact one of their gods?
Huh.
They seem to be very open to communication and very, very hungry for attention.
I was going to say, there is a word for that. It's
Desperate.
called praying.
Look into a mirror and say their name 3 times.
No,
appear behind
And the
you.
ritual will be complete.
Your brother still put that in your head so many years ago. I told you that's not a thing.
Desire goes, well,
Tell
I
that
mean,
to
if
blood
you
in
guys
your-
are very nervous
You never
about
saw her.
the gods, there are other things out there that do give power. If I were to take a unit out near New Greyheim, I could get us a couple of extra units.
Of what?
Allies, of course.
What kind of allies are you getting from there?
Well, there are higher realms and lower realms.
Yeah.
Your dad is related to the higher realms. I wouldn't mind their help.
Well, I would get part of that. I just need to go, defeat some of New Greyheim's people.
Whoa, wait. You're talking about
Oh,
undead?
they're allies.
No, I don't do undead. That's gross.
Agreed.
Well, you'll kill the undead, but
Yeah, but I could have fought the undead, but that was dumb. I came here to fight, bad people.
We appreciate that. But can you tell us exactly what you're proposing?
Getting, my brothers and sisters to help. With some units.
Your brothers and sisters are half... Well, they're from each of the planes, like you, right?
Right, yeah. They'd be invested in the cause. Especially helping because you're daddy's friends.
What, Miss Desire, they don't necessarily have the benefit that you do, having met your daddy.
I'm trying to help out, I'll talk to them.
I know, but your father would be so mad at me for saying this again, but I mean, he wasn't around for most of your life.
Right, but I care about him and I want to do right for him. That's why I'm
But
fighting in his name.
But you met him and you've gotten to know him and decided that you like him, and they don't necessarily have that benefit.
They don't like my daddy?
I'm saying they might not, since he hasn't met them.
Desire, are they still at home on the lower planes with their mothers?
Yes.
Is this the only way they can get out of the lower planes and come to this realm?
Yes.
Interesting.
And Desire, they've been raised on the lower planes. They are likely going to have the morality of the people of the lower planes.
I
and
did
not,
too. I'm here fighting for you. Come on.
But you
so
got
judgmental.
you got the moral sensibilities of the upper planes from your father, learned from him.
Well, they're going to come here to learn too. And they might learn a lot from you. You know, you're all skinny and stuff. We're kind of
Ben, having known Desire for a bit, would she have recognized the connection of her name to her
1,000%
personality?
1,000%.
Yeah, I think Jacob's right. I mean, it was very highly talked about how she came about,
Yeah,
why
without a
that
doubt
was affected, and part of her name.
Desire, what are the names of your siblings? Do you know them?
Not yet.
Yeah, it's the other deadly sin. It's the other sin. So basically, out of character, is she proposing that her and her brothers and sisters be behind the lines like the Inglorious Bastards in New Greyheim? She's
asking you for a handful of men. It sounds like she's asking for a handful of men to go out and do something warlike, probably a guerrilla unity, which has which has been done to you, which was Ronaldus' story. Like Ronaldus is telling you a story that happened to him, which apparently is the Razan's Bloodmen and the Red Curtain. So they've already done something to your mercenaries.
Well, we would be bringing forth her.
You don't really understand this whole other thing. Maybe as well. Actually, I'm going to give you something else. Give me a wisdom check out of you, because this did happen in their campaign, and I'm going to give it to you at advantage. So it'd be your wisdom bonus, not a saving throw, your wisdom bonus.
Oh, okay.
You got a little of that, don't you?
Cy and Electo, if you can remember the incident, I will give them an extreme bonus to it.
What are we talking about? Incident with devils?
Yes.
I remember.
14 at advantage.
14. I'm going to give them a moment.
So, which one did we fight? We fought the concert with the band.
Yep. There was the Medusa.
Yep.
It was all that was Melanie's ex was one of them that we fought.
Yep.
Those weren't.
We fought all the kobolds. That was from my past.
Yep. That was the first one.
Yeah.
What was the last one?
We fought. Did we have to fight like somebody that was kind of like our mom?
Actually, yeah.
Okay. If you remember, Eante Hawkins was returned to you as a Merilith demon. So, there's a chance that you know that there are other definitely very frightening forces that you could look into. But one of them somewhat got manifested into your mother. But devils and demons are different. They're not the same. But it would put the same aspects of the abyssal hell into play.
But by bringing these beings into our realm,
There are definitely creatures that are used to war.
And they're definitely creatures that are used to conquest and domination.
Carl, well, you would also be very aware of the Blood War.
Oh yeah, that's actually something I'm getting ready to ask Desire about, because I don't actually know who her father and mother are. So.
She told you her father is. Her father apparently is around.
So,
her father is the grandson of Apollo. He's an Asimir.
He's an Asimir.
Oh, he's Mr. Alexi. He's a very nice man.
Yeah, she has a crush on my daddy.
I Desire. I do not.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you were flirting with a captain of the guard. It's a loose relationship. They're very understanding of how they get along.
Sounds like it wouldn't take much just to make
Desire,
it happen if you did like them.
It's true.
Desire, what's your mother like?
Hell on wheels.
Very sexy. Can make really any man or woman happy when she really puts her mind to it.
Okay, that's not really the question I was trying to get at.
Oh, it wasn't?
Not really. So, let's go at it with this. There is a war amongst the lower planes between the forces of order and the forces of chaos. Which side of that war is your mother on? Because down in the lower planes, everybody is on one side or the other. There are no neutral parties.
I don't really think you want me to tell you that. They get very touchy about being known about stuff like that.
Well, I'm just trying to make sure that we have the information that we need to know whether your mother is a demon or a devil.
My mother's a what?
Well, the two sides are demons and devils.
Yes.
The demons are chaos.
Oh.
The devils are order.
Well, we're on the side of the devils.
All right.
Are we seriously considering summoning devils? Well, I'd rather devils than a god.
See, that's what I was trying to get at. You don't like gods. Devils are much more into things.
We seem to be negotiating which side we're going to sell the town to as far as which faction of the lower planes we want to side with.
That's true too.
Well, I'm already here helping.
Killian, Athena must now know of the threat to her, and knows of these gods. Ask her for help. Tell her there are gods that are looking to intervene, and you need her. You need her.
I can reach out.
I mean, she's the one god of this realm I respect. Knowledge in battles.
I mean, I can pray, but I've never received much of an answer.
I understand. Maybe things have changed.
Maybe.
This is going to very much be her sort of show, particularly going against her brother or competitor Ares.
I will pray on it tonight when we're concluded our business.
I don't want to be the pawn of a god, but if the gods want worship, they need to do what these other gods want to do. I don't want to be a pawn, but if they're willing to help, that's different. Am I wrong to think that way?
Well, the majority of the people, I'm sure, will be if these other gods are doing things, they'll be in a "what have you done for me lately" type of mindset.
Can Lace can tell us what her pantheon was, right?
She didn't worship one. She said she respected Tyr,
Right.
Torm, and Tempest.
She'd know. Okay, well, those three are good enough names for me, so that's all I need to know. Is there are other gods. There's a god of law and order. There's a god of bravery and duty. Maybe they're looking for an outlet.
Well,
Are there
also
gods
remember,
that
she said that
paladins of your world?
her timeline is
Rwanda?
different than what you're hearing. So there's a detachment to the current gods that you're fighting against. Because she never heard of it as Nyx, Ezra's, I'm sorry, and she never heard of, she never heard of Nyx,
Ra.
and she never heard of Raven Queen
Or Ra.
or Ra. So you could be betting
Well-
on these other gods, and they may not be around.
We know Tyr is.
You do know Tyr is.
There's one. And we also know where the Sword of Tyr is, or who has it. If we can ever get out of this.
Who has it?
Melanie.
That's right.
I have the Lion Bow of Ashton. Killian has the Sun Sword of Ra, and Melanie walked away
Right.
with the.
Did you said Ra was one of these new gods?
I guess so.
Actually, Jake, is it the Sun Sword of Ra, or is it the Sun Sword of Lathander you have?
Ben made it as Ra. Let me double check. Yes, it's the Sun Sword of Ra.
Ben, can I get a roll from my reading of the history to know that they're one and the same, just different names?
Sure.
History or
Whatever's best. History or Arcana.
they're the same, so it'd be a 16.
16?
Yeah.
You're not positive. It's an ancient
Okay.
relic of a weapon. You're not even sure
Yep.
what significance they have.
I just
Besides
know
that.
they're significant.
Yeah, it was briefly told you about something. There was something about family names. One of those names is in front of you. The Griffin, is a Griffin Claw.
Yep.
But you're just getting a lot of like the timing of certain of these individuals being alive seem to be a huge component that's missing. And the next part is, of these gods. There seems to be a big time frame. She mentions that there's one of you that Requilin seems to know way more, but he's not with you, or the other party members. Either one of that situation could help.
All right.
But we can't get to them.
Well, everyone chose a different path, so that you know that they're doing each of their own things.
So we don't know how connected to the gods that these weapons are. Because if I have the Sun Sword of Ra,
You can speculate for sure. But the true answers the easier answers coming to you are just the individuals aren't with you. But you guys definitely can push research. The feelings that you have and the speculation is what this session's about. Is to see how deep you guys can get into the research to decide how prominent you want to make a lot of this stuff.
When Melanie and I parted ways in Jacksonport, what was that parting like? Was it literally like, thanks for the trip, never talk to me again? Or was there any indication, especially being from that area, is there any indication of what she's doing and where she is?
You have a feeling like she was more or less definitely like, I'm done with this because the family is broken. You're talking, again, you also experienced this as well as you know the king did. Like, you're basically heartbroken. You just don't know if she recovered. Because it was like you guys all broke up. Maximore's master plan, so to speak, well, I don't say master plan, but whatever events that he planned into was a betrayal. And
Sure.
Jason helped, like, he turned some of your own members against each other of you. Some of you, Cy didn't get out because of that. So there was, like, a lot of that backstabbing part of it going on. And the biggest thing to remember is Thea was a lot of the Hawkinson's purity. And when Thea didn't come back, it broke Melanie. And there was a lot of relationship that was supposed to be what that was. And it was like a lot of responsibility that is what Killian and Melanie felt the most. Killian, though, was vengeful that he was going to make his father pay, and that's exactly what he did when he killed his father. So,
what?
And then he took the throne. Melanie, of course, now having to know that and see that, now knowing that her mother was dead from this thing, met her mother in this Underdark, corrupted as aspect, and then to see one of her brothers and her youngest sister just be lost and sort of corrupted and not know what happened to them, broke her.
Sure. Oh, totally. That all makes sense.
Yeah. And you were just repairing your life, so you could probably find her if you could get out and do what you do, because you're a hunter out from that knowledge. It's just at this situation, you're kind of handcuffed. But again, you'd be restricted by getting out of this mist if that was the point, but doesn't mean like you couldn't figure shit out if you went to ports, like another port in the Garden of Gaia, or also went to taverns. Like, you are still Captain Electo of a very infamous ship. You could probably get Admiral. You could get a lot of people talking because they want to get on your good side. If you were to go out and personally do that investigation in that aspect, if you were looking sort of for her. But you also know she disappeared on purpose and disappeared hard. She's not going to be an easy one to find.
Yep. Okay. I mean, I'll relay as much of that as I feel is appropriate to the table, basically saying, if we really feel like we need to find Melanie, we could probably find her. What I don't know is what use that will be. And I apologize for being so blunt about it, Your Majesty.
It's not exactly unexpected.
Okay.
So where do we begin then?
So we definitely are going to have people looking into any pop-ups of cults or temples or anything to any of these new gods, as Thrakil suggested.
Send word to the other cities.
Who is going to be responsible for that duty?
Not it.
For which part? The looking at investigating and trying to track down other temples?
Yep. You don't have to do it yourself. There are NPCs I gave you all contact with. It's just, but if you want to be personal,
yeah, I'm sure there's some people on the list of.
Detachment of guard or something. Yeah.
Well, there's probably your master of intelligence or whatever you want to call it. Your spy.
If I'm not on the battlefield, I'm best looking at books.
Okay.
That's what I do.
Likewise.
Okay, so who's going to do the investigation? Sorry, people are texting in the chat.
Sounds like a good job that maybe the good Captain Electo could take upon himself. Being outside of the circle of the government.
So he's going to do the investigation?
Well, I'm asking to volunteer.
If that's how I can serve best, then...
Okay.
Me and my crew can take that.
All right. What else would you like to do? Would you like to give Desire her Inglorious Bastard team?
No.
Okay.
My family's been responsible for bringing enough ill to this world. I will not be responsible for also adding that.
Fair. Cool. I like it. What else would you like to do, King?
We'll need to fortify the city more. As Thrakkel was talking about, will be the person for that job, and building up the guard and seeing what we can do about defense against whatever supernatural powers these guys have. That they're coming in at night.
Have we already sent word to the other cities as we had talked about earlier?
No, we'll have to do that. I don't know if that already happened before this, or
No.
okay. Then yeah.
It is not common for dynasties to do such a thing.
I can do it over flight.
As Bob
a
Dylan
day.
said, times they are changing.
Times are changing.
I can do a flight overnight or over day, and I can go for 10 hours if somebody needs to get somewhere fast.
We also need to send some kind of message to New Greyheim to have parley with either Azerian or one of his underlings. But if he truly has
the Queen,
yeah, but if he's truly got Ares on his side, then they're not going to stand down.
and any parlay, would you trust that they wouldn't use that as an opportunity to end things swiftly?
Right, so you should not do the parlay, Your Majesty, is what you're saying.
No, I was saying an envoy.
Lace will go if you wish her to speak to discover what is going on.
Would he respect your name?
He would know more of me than I know.
You might
of
be
him.
too big of an asset to. Too big of an asset to send on that endeavor.
I'll go with her. I'll protect her. It'll be somebody from his world that he knows of.
Okay.
I think that Lace may be a good person for it, because we're going to need someone that can resist this unknown charisma of Azerian. He seems to have some way of talking people into his cause that I'm not certain that even some of our best diplomats, most experienced diplomats, would be unprepared for, given that he is such an unprecedented threat. She at least shares some knowledge of their shared homeland, this other plane.
Do we have it? Are there any paladins bent on in the, I guess, the court or in the guard that could be sent with her to
You have
accompany her?
You have gods of the old gods in Kylos, so there's definitely would be a paladin that you could pull, depending on which god you wish to have representation. Obviously, with D&D 5th edition, they are done by oaths, so you can get a type of oath with a certain type of god. Are they powerful individuals? Not like the people that are around you at the moment, but they would represent of that people, though. I mean, of that faith.
But it's more that they're more aware of undead and supernatural type of individuals that may be lurking in the shadows or right in front of them in King Azerian's case.
What?
And more resistant to falling under sway.
what do we do about his connection to Ares? We can't fight a god.
Beauty isn't just what we put on. It's what we put out into the world.
Is anyone
And
willing
until
to ask
everyone
a
sees
god
beauty
for
for
help?
all that it is,
As
and
I
all that
already
it
said,
can
I'll
Sorry, folks.
pray to
Commercial happening.
Athena after we've concluded here. I'll spend the evening in prayer and see if I can get some sort of response.
Typically, historically, what you would see is if your enemy has something that you cannot possibly withstand, then you choose to disengage from it and you apply your strongest thing, your strongest assets elsewhere. Rather than put strength against strength, you fight your strength against their weakness and do your best to not let the superior force get to you. So we need to refuse Ares as much as we can, if that is him.
Do we know from those reports if he's been used as in the places they conquered, or is he more just visible in New Greyheim?
Hold on a second.
Are there any temples to Ares in the town, Your Majesty? In the city?
I'm sure. Yeah, I would say yes.
I would expect
As a guy,
popular
not really knowing, I would say yes.
The gods are filled with hubris and with a desire to interact among mortals.
All right.
Have one of his clerics ask him why he is doing what he's doing. Let's just not try to face him blindly. Let's find out why.
I was more thinking of a god from the other realm. I don't really want to ask Silk, but this Ezra seems to have interest in us.
So as I said, I would pray to Athena tonight. If I do not get an answer, maybe I should try praying to this Ra of the sword that I have.
Okay. Yeah.
Mr. Cy,
Yeah.
do you? I you know that I accepted. I mean, I saw it as a not. I saw it as a tool. What Miss Silk gave us or offered us. Do you want me to? I don't talk to gods. I don't know what to do. I talk to nature.
Your connection to Silk is, as Throkill had pointed out, dangerous in that Silk is unstable, was a prisoner. But maybe Ezra, who took notice of us, would listen to you through that connection. I don't want to talk to a goddess who did the things she did that I read about in that history. She is dark and evil and, well, just mean. This Ezra is the only other one I know of other than Tyr. And Ra, which we don't know what Ra is. Ben, what are the markings on the sun sword? Is it like a sun?
It has like a type of that in the hilt, but the markings would be a mix between Dwarven and Elvish.
I have both.
Yeah, it just looks like a longsword hilt. Also,
Right.
and then the blade.
I know, but I'm trying to determine. I'm just trying to get an idea, an educated assessment of what kind of god would make the sun sword their holy weapon, and if it were a good god, and most likely a god against the undead. Art knows the answers. He's Art is not. Is trying to not make the leaps.
Well, if I'm attuned to it, Ben, I would know that it does more against undead, probably. So, yeah.
So then, anybody who fights the undead
is our kind of guy right now.
So that might be another person to talk to. Yeah. Art's trying to not make the leaps that he knows.
Okay. I'm going to kind of get some things over here. So, Alecto's checking the cults within the city limits. Throkil is going to get the palace situated, defending especially the royal palace after hearing what happened to the last dynasty families. Who is going... I guess it has 3 emissaries that are needed. 1 to New Greyheim, 1 to Lockett, 1 to Sulcult. Who are they? Have you chosen them, or not? Or knocking one off because you don't have enough people to go?
I mean, we have the people. It's how much are we splitting the
Correct.
4 people or sending NPCs?
Correct. So who would you like to put?
So we could send. Who's the one that said that she would go to?
Lace.
Yeah, we could send Lace with some paladins as escort.
Is Cy going with her, or no?
I would rather not send Cy now that I have him back.
You're the king.
I appreciate that, but no one is going to guard her like I am.
But I don't want to lose you as soon as I get you back, Cy.
I totally appreciate that. I really do. But we're talking about the good of our city and our realm and our home.
Cy, as a king, I don't extend this to many people, but seeing as how you've been to hell and back, I'm going to let you decide if you want to go.
Then I'm going.
If that's something you want to do. Okay.
Where would you like the 4 paladins to come from? What temple?
Athena.
Yeah, that would be the one that I follow, I guess, yeah. They would
I
probably
would
be
say
the most loyal to me.
not Aries.
Yeah,
Not Aries?
definitely not.
Okay.
No. Yeah, that would be surefire. Hey, we just got a new side.
And Zeus.
Don't forget, Mr. Cy. Do you remember what I mentioned when we first arrived here? The land hereabouts is sick. Very, very sick. If you want to appeal to an old god... No, not in a good way. Shame on you, Mr. Killian.
This place is sick. I'm the king. I want this place to be sick.
If you want to appeal to one of the old gods, Demeter is the goddess of the land.
Maybe you could appeal to Demeter. I was thinking about one of the newer gods.
I can, if you really want me to try, I can also do that, but
I think whatever you think is best, wherever you can get the help.
You should see if you can commune with your god, Cascade, with Demeter. You're a Titan.
well, I wouldn't necessarily say that she's my god. I mean, I come from the sea. I've spent most of my life on the ocean. I typically will talk to Poseidon if I talk to anyone, but
Or
we're
just
inland.
fish.
Or just fish.
Yeah.
You can't talk to the fish people. They don't negotiate.
Yeah.
I if you would
Well,
like,
next to the
I can.
lizard people.
I'll appeal to Demeter and I can try and talk. Ezra? I'll talk to Ezra if they'll listen.
Okay. Well, we still need an emissary to lock
God
it.
to talk.
And one to
we need
Sulcult if
two.
you're going. If those are 2 you want us to do as well.
The 2 other cities.
I think we just need to send word that we're willing to form an alliance and hope to get a meeting out of it. And hope they're still standing as independent cities when our messengers get there.
Do I have? There's nobody with connections to those cities.
No.
That I have around, right?
I don't believe so. No. But coming out is a very lean, small girl that will go. If we need an emissary, Daddy, Father, I will go on behalf of our dynasty.
Daddy?
This is a young girl. She's probably 6 or 7.
I thought that was Desire for a second, and I was like, wait, what?
Nope.
That is kind of how you played Desire, but
It's true. That's why it's messed up sometimes.
Desire's like, ooh, I like this kid.
Yeah. It's where we all play.
I'll introduce everyone. This is my daughter Cassandra. And no, Cassandra, I'm not going to send you to other.
She does a curtsy.
I appreciate your noble gesture, and this is the qualities that will make you a fine leader one day.
But Father,
I bow to her.
This is a royal matter. It is for the safety of my kingdom. If I'm to have one, if it isn't one of your blood, who would go?
It's too dangerous at this time.
I can go with Ronaldus.
I may be able to find contacts there that I might have met in passing as a previously as a mercenary. I would have to agree with His Majesty, Princess, that this may not be a matter that you are ready for yet.
Well, if they are to listen, that is the way their kings would respond, not your mere soldiers. But King Theodosius Baccharistus is going to wish to speak of someone of rank.
Well,
yes, but I couldn't in good conscience send anyone such as yourself before the age of 75.
75?
He's just going to try to marry you off to one of his sons.
He doesn't have a son.
Obviously, I don't even know what that guy's name was before you just said it.
Yep. Although if you're playing in 5th edition, then you would know them. But we'll help.
You are playing in 5th edition, Jake, but you're always drunk and headbutting people.
I am what I am. Talk to Ben. He's the one who made me king.
You're a paladin of vengeance. What else is going to happen?
Yeah.
He made you king because he wanted this day to come.
That's true.
My liege.
One of the places. Yes,
my liege, last time the royal family went to meet with other royal family.
Yeah, we don't do good on boats.
Exactly.
We're a land-based folk.
Jacob, I will give you inspiration for that because that was fucking funny.
Oh, God. I would have to consult with your mother before any decision like that was made.
Okay.
Right.
With that,
kick that can down the road.
Ask your mom.
Nick will escort the princess out of the debate.
Once the princess leaves, I will look at Killian and say, she's not wrong, though.
I'm aware of that side, but would you send your only child to
No,
a
but
previously enemy kingdom in a time of war without hesitation? There has to be hesitation.
Agreed.
I can almost guarantee you that if you did, then this Azerian would strike at her.
I have no doubt, because that's what my father would have done.
Okay, so do you have?
Actually, he would have sent her to hell.
I'm gonna give you time for the emissaries to figure that out. There's no other agenda going on except praying to old gods to see if they answer.
Because if they don't know.
Okay, the night will come. Killian, you have King Killian, you have attuned to the sword of Ra. As you pray, you will feel immediate warmth. You start feeling like light in your vision, like definitely there's spotlight in your closed eyes. It is very bright, feels very warm. Then you hear, "What mortal calls upon my power through this weapon?"
Killian Hawkins, King of Kylos.
I do not know of this city, Kylos. Explain yourself, mortal.
Well, from what I know, you are a new god to the throne. That is why you don't know it. But wars come with you and the other gods. Now, us mortals are seeking help.
There has been a stirring amongst that pantheon, one I have not seen with them. They are agitated and excited. You bring forth this war, mortal?
It was brought to my doorstep by
The Dark Queen did it?
one called Azerian.
There is a burning in your esophagus down to your stomach after you say that name. What being? How is he doing this in your new realm?
He calls himself Azerian Greystoke, and he is ascended to the throne of one of the kingdoms in our realm. And now he is conquering other lands in quick succession.
In the time I've known him, he was an emperor. He had turned colors. But he is always a vampire. He is deadly and dangerous. For you to stop him, you must embrace me wholly. Open your mind to me, mortal. As you feel him enter your mind and thinking, you will take 30 points of psychic damage.
Oh, okay.
And then he kind of peels. Your head is pounding. You feel warm, but even though it's painful, you feel strength. He's tantalizing in the essence of your like your fingertips and your soul. He goes, "I am Ra, the sun god. I have opposed the beings of death and darkness in the prison realm of Alanistat. these beings come from. You have given me some of the visage, but I bring forth much more. But it does not come, mortal king, without a price. I cannot fully help you without you being one of mine. And to be one of me means that your belief into your old gods becomes no more. That is a heavy, heavy price for one who has been taught the old ways. But I will tell you, I took this mantle from old gods themselves, and I am not one to be easily defeated.
I believe that that our hope of defeating King Azerian lies through this path.
Give me your oath that you now become faithful and High Paladin of Ra.
I, Killian Hawkins, am now a Paladin of Ra.
With that,
I'll get down.
you definitely feel the weight to your knees. More power feels like it's an essence that brings forward with you. And with that, he goes, my disciple, now my champion. You face a vampire of immense knowledge and skill. But what is worse of this being is his uncontrollable desire to be what he is not, a human of the family lineage of the name he's taken, Greystoke. He wishes to be everything that bards speak of in tales, but he could never have it. The land would never give it to him. Instead, he conquers because he has been trained by some of the greatest generals throughout realms. But what he wants is to be like you.
So he wants to be human?
He wishes to be like a respected human king. He wishes to have his own true family. He can't have it, because he is vampire. He was born of corruption and hate. And you're in a lot of danger.
That's for sure. With your assistance, we can defeat him, though.
We can hold him at bay. With every sunrise, there is a sunset. I will keep you safe, especially much in the day. But come night, his powers are amassed. But what I have, as I said, is much of the knowledge that he has. And I can warn you of much of what he brings forth against you.
Yes, he's taken the kingdoms he's conquered at night. And one night, he'd slaughtered the ruling families. We
That is
haven't
his rage.
known how to defend against that and how he's doing it.
His agents, he trains the best, he respects the best. It is the Greystoke way. He understands the power comes in the people. The men who are willing to serve. The people that are willing to feed. That is why kingdoms are important to him. He's not like old vampires of tales that scare small children. He is a monster who understands how to seduce. And the gods are on his side.
There has been tellings of one who is the walking visage of our god Ares on his side.
There
A
are
living
three
god
of
walking
them.
amongst them.
There are three in there. I can sense their power.
So it's true Ares is with them and two others.
Yes.
Do you know the names of the others?
Aphrodite, and apparently one akin to me, Apollo.
Ooh. A sun god with a vampire?
There's another god roaming about these areas that you call the Garden of Gaia, a mist-walking god. I know him.
Is it Ezra?
He's known to in the land that they're coming from as Nyx.
He's around, but he's not aligned with Azerian already.
Nyx is
Or
neutral. He plays to the Dread Realm.
So does he control the mist that's been around?
No one controls the mists. One can be a guide in the mist.
So Ares doesn't control, or Azerian does not control the mist. We were under the impression he did.
In a way, he can. He can trap those that he wishes not to flee, but he cannot send you elsewhere without full interaction. It is sort of a extension of his senses and power when he focuses, but when distracted, many can pass through that veil.
Can you give me the knowledge of the myths?
It is not my domain. What I will give you is what keeps vampires away. The power of sunlight.
Thank you.
You are now my champion.
What else do I need to ask this guy?
I mean, say thanks at least.
God, didn't I just say thanks?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what else to say.
Rest. The times will be coming. It is difficult. As you lay and try to, you basically stumble, head pounding from the pain. Your beautiful wife sees you, helps you get into the bed, and nuzzles next to you. She goes, Killian, my love, you're not going to send Cassandra to Lockett, are you?
God, no! But if I tell her she has to ask you, then you can tell her that you have to ask me. And we can go back and forth for all eternity.
Very clever, my love. I just want to make sure. With that, she kisses you and you try to get much needed sleep.
This is the most important thing. If she tells you that I said yes and you don't have to ask me, she's lying.
Okay. Cascade. As you
Yeah?
reach out, trying to find the other gods, you continue to feel the threads of other beings sort of kind of watching. You're out on the one of the towers of the city of Kylos. You can't help but notice a raven just watching what you're doing. And with that, we will end our episode. Thank you, new cast. Great job.
Oh no.
Jake, we got a shot.
What about the game? What about the old guys?
Very fun. Very very harsh trying to get everyone back to finding some of our old stories. I understand it might be a little frustrating for some part of the fans, but these guys have really known things have been honest for a long time, and they're struggling to stay in a character to go forward with this. But it was beautifully done. Beautifully done.
Let me tell you what a fucker Azerian is. Like, that's
We already know this lore. Let me go from there.
Yeah.
Okay. I
Don't
would
worry,
like
Jen,
to.
You're not the only one who didn't play back then.
I would like to set this date for either the 14th or the 28th. Would be either way. One of these would work. The 7th would be a little too early. I know that's a lot to do with Josh, our Journeys fan, host.
You said the Witch or the Witch?
14th and 28th. It's got to be one of those days.
I was going to say, we have something on the 21st.
Right, we have one days. Sorry. The other live campaign
Yeah.
we do.
7th is definitely out anyway.
The
There is
14th would be better for me. I'm going to be exhausted on the 28th.
yeah. Yeah, the 14th is fine.
We'll do the 14th then. So everybody, we will see you on the 14th. Thank you very much for tuning in this new chapter of Streams of Spero and how things will go. And so we will see you then on the 14th. Thank you very much.
All right. Happy holidays, Joe.
Happy holidays. Good night.
Bye, guys.
Everybody.
Happy holidays.